my name's Teresa Brown. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and have been for 17 years. I live in Victoria in Australia. So we are going to share how to use these water painters with our inks today, and we're going to have a little sneak peek, of St. Nicholas, which is coming out in our September, December mini catalogue. So a little sneak peek in amongst our demonstration today. So really lovely. So without further ado, let's come down to my workbench here. Okay. So I just love that we have got a new catalogue coming out very soon. And I love to also do some water painting. So the first thing you need to do is stamp your image using your Memento black ink. So use your Memento black ink onto your stamp and stamp it down, which I already have done. Okay, now the good thing about this is I'm not going to be making a card. I'm just going to share with you some watercolour ideas and how to use our brushes. Now our brushes need to be filled up with water. So just tap water and then pop them back in. They wind back to front, these ones, for some reason, but they do. There's 3 different sizes. So we have a small, very small tip. On the side here it says press, so if you need more water you just press and some more water will come out onto your beautiful brush. So that's our fine tip one. Then we have a medium one, which is one that most people normally use. And once again, you have push written on the side here. So once again, make sure you fill it up with water. And that's probably the one that we're going to use. And then the third one is a flat one. Now this is really good if you're doing watercolor paper and things like that, which we're not using watercolor paper today. I'm just using our normal cardstock, just normal thin cardstock. Now the other thing you will need is a tissue or a piece of paper towel just to blot out on, and you'll need a block. Okay, because I like to use a block for my colours. You can use the lid, but I prefer to pop them onto a block, so that's a choice thing, okay? So if you're doing really dainty stuff, I would say let's come in with the very fine point one. So let's start off with the Christmas tree and use the fine point one. Now you can usually tell if it's wet by rubbing it on the back of your hand. You can feel that it's wet, it's come out. So I'm going to start off with the lemon lime twist, and this is a lighter colour, so I'm just going to add some of this to my block. And then I'm going to come in with my water painter and pick up the colour that I want, which is the lemon lime twist. And I'm just going to start off very lightly coming into doing this Christmas tree. Now this is a very old world Christmas tree, so this is not a bad colour, and you can always come in with a different colour if you don't like the lemon lime twist. You might want to come in with the old olive or granny apple green or whatever green, garden green, whatever green you love through the Stampin' Up colours. They're all beautiful. I love this because it's got such a very fine point to work with, and it's so easy to do and work. Don't have it overly wet when you're using the cardstock. When you're using watercolor paper, that's a completely different thing, but with your cardstock you don't want it over wet, or you can start peeling your paper back and you don't really want to do that. So just very lightly, let it dry. If you're going to come through with a second coat, make sure that you let it dry, okay? If you want to come through with a little bit more, you can let that dry. Okay, it will just darken it up a little bit if you come through with a second coat. but make sure that it's not too wet to work with. Okay, so that's our granny apple green. Oh no, sorry, that's not our granny apple green. It's the lemon lime twist that I'm using today. Sorry about that. Okay, so to clean your brush, just wipe it off onto that tissue. And to clean your block, just wipe it out onto the tissue. If you're going to use it again, you might want to put it aside and use it again. That's not a problem. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come in and we're going to use the Real Red. Now, the Real Red is really bright, like it's I'm just going to put some here. But I'm also going to come in with the Craig & Craze, and it's like a darker old-fashioned colour that you can bring the two colours in and mix. You'll see that it's very, not as bright. It's a darker one. So I'm going to stick with my little brush at the moment, and I'm going to come in and do a little bit of the bright up here on the hat, because there's just a little area where we want to come in. And then I'm going to come in with the Craig & Craze and just do a little bit of highlighting with that. Okay, because it's a bit of a darker one. Now we're going to come in with the arm of the coat, of Santa's coat. So we're going to come in. Now when you first come down with your colour, make sure that you pick up the colour and you spread it evenly through your brush. Okay. You will get light and dark as you go through, and that's fine because you want that shadowing effect through there. I'm going to clean the brush off, and I'm going to come in with the Craig & Craze, and I'm going to highlight some of this area. To give it a darker effect in some areas. And then you still got your little shadow effect in there as well. Just doing a little bit of shadowing in there. And you've got more control with your littler brush to do this. Okay, so we've got this bit in here. Then we're going to come down here, and you can come in light if you want to start off with. It's entirely up to you. If you need more water, don't forget, just press the side and just bring that water through, that it comes through. Okay, you can go backwards and forwards on your tissue or your paper towel, and you'll see that the water has come out. Okay, so you can sort of see now I've got quite a bit there, and you can just come in and now I did blot that off a little bit, and you can blot it off a little bit if you feel like it's just a little bit too much on your brush. Okay, now I don't want it overly bright, and you can sort of see that it lightens off as you colour with it. Okay, so I don't want it too dark, I don't want it too light, and I don't mind having the shadow effects in there. That's not a problem because it's an old-fashioned coat, so we want it light and dark. Now you can see that when you use a lot of water, it will bleed a little bit. So you've got to be a little bit mindful of that. Okay, if you have too much water. Come back in with your darker one, and now we're going to do some highlighting and blending. Okay, so you've got these lines, which is really clever of Stampin' Up to put them there for you to do some blending with. If you're very new and you don't know, you can use these lines as your guidelines to do some blending, which is really, really helpful. Okay. You can come back and do that second coat now that that's dried a little bit. You can come back and do that little bit more blending over there. Come down and do some blending down through here. Okay, so you can sort of see we've got that nice old world type coat there. It's not all bright red. And we've got this colour, the Cranjing Craze. I'm not quite sure if that's how you pronounce it. Everyone pronounces it different, so, but that's okay. I will share it with you on the screen. And it's back to front, but that's okay. I don't know why it's back to front, it shouldn't be. Okay, so we've got our red done now. We're going to come in with, I think we'll come in with the wild wheat, and we can highlight that with the copper clay. I think those two would come in really, really well together. Now, once you finish with your red, you can clean it off. Okay, so you can turn your tissue now inside out the other way. And you can add some old world. This is our new in colour this year, 2023-25, and it's one that I've really grown to love, and the same with this one, the copper clay. Really lovely, and I don't mind using these colours together at all. Now the red will stain your pen just a little bit, so just bring it through and keep flushing your water through. So just keep pressing it and flushing the water through until it sort of comes pretty clean. Okay, so now we're going to pick up some colour here of the wild wheat. And if it feels a bit wet, blot it off. Okay, so we're going to come down and do the toy bag. How's everyone going? Thank you for stopping by and watching this. If you're new to Stampin' Up and you're looking for a demonstrator, please contact me. I'm happy to help anyone with their crafty experience. Now we're going to add a little bit of the copper clay and this colour together, the wild wheat and the copper clay together, just to get a little bit of a highlight through here. And then a little bit by itself. It's good to have a play with your colours too. Like you'll, when you get your colours, you'll want to have a little play with them and see what colours you can sort of blend in really lovely together. And I'm just going to put a really fine up here, and you can sort of see you're getting that blending. I'm just going to hold that up so you can sort of see how we've got that all starting to blend in now. The coat's all blended in, the tree. So you can sort of see that you can blend it in as much as you want or as little as you want. Okay, it's entirely up to you. We're also going to do the bag. So I'm going to come in with the wild wheat on that as well. And I'm just going to come in around the top of the bag first. And that will be the darker bit when you come in and do the bit that you want first. You sort of comes in darker. And as you bring your water pen down, it comes out a lot lighter. So we're going to come through here. And you can bring that in a little bit lighter. So if you want to do it lighter coming up towards the top, start from the bottom where you'll get your darker bits. And then it can come up lighter. Okay, so you can see you get that darker and lighter effect in your bag there. As you drag your colour up, it'll come lighter. So if you don't want dark and then dark, start from the opposite end and get your dark bit down the bottom and then come up to the lighter colour. So you can sort of see we've got our bag there now, and we're going to do his boots in the same sort of colouring, I think, and then we'll add a little bit of the copper clay to the boots as well. So we're going to come in with I'm just looking at his boots. So we're going to come in here. And it's good to look at your image to see where you want your dark and light highlights. Okay, so you can look and you can sort of see where you want them. And I sort of want them more to the back of the boot. Okay, so coming in more with the darker and then coming across where it will be lighter. So darker towards the back of the boot. And then coming in with a little bit of a mix of the two colours again to do the sole of the boot. Okay, so I'm just going to bring a little bit of that in and then come back in with my and you'll get it shadowing how you want it to shadow. Okay, so you can sort of see where the boot, how we've got a bit of a light effect happening in there. Down here at the front of the boot, we've got it more darker towards the back of the boot. Okay, so once again, we're going to do more of the back of the boot first because we want that to be the darker bit. And then come in and do the front of the boot. It will be lighter. Let me just share with you that one coat on that one there. So you can sort of see we've got the dark and the light. Okay, so let's come in a little bit of a mixture now with the two colours again and mix around that base of the boot. Just to give it a different sort of colouring there. You can come in a little bit on the toe and you'll get that beautiful colouring in there. Now the face is interesting because you can do the pink. I'm just going to grab my pink, sorry. We have the new Bubble Bath pink. It's very pink, but you can add some of this colour with it. So I'm going to grab another little block for the pink. I'm just going to grab a little block and I can mix up some colours happening here for the face. Now we don't want it too dark, but we can bring in a bit of crumb cake which is a lighter type of brown. Okay, so I've got a bit of pink and a little bit of crumb cake in there to do a bit of shadowing with that as well. Okay, there's not much on the face. There's a tiny little bit in there on the face, so you're going to have to be, just start off with your pink first and just come in. You've got your moustache there that you've got to be a little bit careful of, his eyebrows and all that, so you've got to be a little bit mindful. You don't need much of this, so add a little bit of pink and brown together, like the crumb cake and the bubble bath together, just to do a little bit of highlighting on the cheek area. Just a little bit up near the hat. A little bit on his nose, and you can sort of see the face. You don't want it too pink, but you don't want it brown. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do his pants, and we're going to come back in with this colour here. This is why I haven't cleaned this yet. And we're going to come in and do his pants area. Now I'm sort of doing the darker down the bottom and the top, and coming up lighter at the top. Now the white bit of the boots there, so you can leave that. Okay, so we've got the fur coming around in there as well. We've got fur coming there and fur coming there. And then we can do his gloves as well. So I'm going to do the gloves more in the copper clay colour with a little bit of the wild wheat mixed together. Now you could probably have left them white if you wanted to, but I just want to do a little bit of colouring on the, just so you can distinctly see this. This is his hands, and it matches in a little bit with his coat. Okay, so you can sort of see we've got that. And then you've got the little, okay, so we've got that. So now you've got the little toys in the back. So while I've got this one here, I've got some crumb cake here. I'm going to keep the crumb cake, and I'm going to do the little bear up here. Okay, so I'm going to do the little bear. And then I'm going to do a little bit of red on here as well, just a tiny little bit on that block. And I can pop that over the top of the pink because the pink is so light. So we just got a tinge of red in there as well. And I just want to tinge of red because I just want to do a tiny little red bow. In this section here. And then I'm just going to use this pink and come up around this section here. And you might want another colour, you might want a bit of green as well, so you can always grab another block if you want to and add a little bit of other colour. So we're going to come in with our lemon lime twist. You might want a bit of that colour in there. In here as well, so I'm going to just do a little bit on the drum. A little bit of brown on the drum as well on this side. And then just a tiny, tiny peak of red up here on the bows, but you're going to have to be very careful because they're just very fine. And then just highlight where you want to highlight your different things. So very old world. Okay, so that's our first lesson today of how to use the inks and how you can blend and shadow in your using your water painters, and I hope you enjoyed that today. Let's come up and say hello. Hello everyone. So how gorgeous is he? Now this comes with dies. I love the fact that you can cut this out with dies and then you can just place it where you want on your card. So we will keep this one and we'll put this on another card, but thank you for taking the time to share with me today, and God bless you all, and I'll see you all in the next lesson. Bye for now.